folks, I'm here to welcome Sonia from CELO, right, our customer who has been implementing OKRs, for the past 1 year plus. And, she has joined us from Spain, and, we would love to understand from her, her experiences, her challenges, and how, the whole OKR implementation is proceeding, right, at CELO, right? So welcome, Sonia. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Okay, hello there. Thank you so much for inviting me just to share my experience with you guys. Yeah.
Great. So Sonia, can you give us some idea about CELO, the company, right? When it was formed, what do you do, right? Maybe the context of the business. Yeah.
Okay, so as you mentioned at the beginning, so I am in Spain, and so I work for a Spanish company. We are located in Barcelona, and we are in an industrial sector. So what we do is we make screws. So we make screws and we commercialize screws. And but especially also for we call it as fasteners and fixing industry. So my role is in HR. I am the corporate HR manager for the company, for whole company, and because we have, we are a multinational company and we have subsidiaries in different countries like US, Germany, China, Hungary, Poland. So we are in different places, and so I am in charge of all HR in whole countries.
Okay, that's awesome. So in terms of the number of people, how many people do you have in CELO across the globe?
So yes, at the end of the year, we reached the number of 500. Almost we are there for 500 people. Yeah. So.
Okay, great. Now, can you give us some idea about the background of OKRs at CELO, right? How did the idea come? Why OKRs? Who brought it in? Can you give us some idea? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Everything start. We have a kind of, we used to work with KPIs, more like following KPIs because we are in the industry, and so in that industry, and also we work a lot for automotive industry, so we need to just follow a lot of audits and that kind of thing. So so we are used to follow that part of the KPIs. So but at some point we decide, say, okay, how we are gonna grow more, how we are gonna develop the company to just you know r- how we can reach the next level in our company. And we started saying, okay, we need to we have a kind of challenge like a digitalization, like how we can manage people in a different way, more not only following the KPIs. So how we challenge more people, they are defining more performance appraisal. So we discover we have it a lot of challenge to reach. So one of the main things we did is, so okay, first of all, to do how we can start all these things, we can analyze our culture. So what we did is what we analyze a culture, and we using a survey. So we define we discover, more than define, is that we discover what the people in our company was perceiving, what was our current culture, and what was the desired culture. So when we realized that the desired culture, it was very related to all these kind of values and things that we wanted, for the future for our company. And we needed also to just reach the next level. So one of the things we saw in that result in the cultural assessment, it was that people was asking for more focus, for more communication, for more alignment. They were more saying to us there was a kind of misalignment. They were a kind of more missing or lack of communication sometimes in terms of strategic things. So we said, oh wow, now what we can do in that. So we thought, what is the tools that we have now in the market, and this could be interesting to just implement and develop. And so we discovered that part of what we discovered. We have, you heard about new things, you heard about things, and say, okay, let's go deeper about OKRs. So how we can that methodology can be used in our company. So that was a little bit, I could say, the trigger, to go just how we can define a methodology that can help us to all these things that we needed to create the new culture and just move forward with the company.
Awesome.
So yeah, so we
That's great.
discover OKRs.
That's great. So, which means you are looking at transformation, digitalization, change of cultural transformation to take you to the next level, and you obviously wanted to have better communication, focus, and alignment, right? So those are all the reasons.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
specifically, the idea, was it proposed by somebody in the executive team, or and then everybody agreed? How did that happen? I would say the agreement across the executive team.
Yeah, it was in the executive team. We discussed about especially we discussed about what was the challenge, of course, and also when we analyzed the results in the cultural assessment. So we started, more or less searching what it could be, and more maybe because I was also involved in how we can implement new methodologies like agile and that kind of things. So it was more like my proposal was, let's go for try with OKRs.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
was,
That's awesome. And once you decided OKRs internally, right? You had the buy-in of the executive team, right? And then you decided to
right.
go about. So, where did you practice OKRs? Let's say for some time without any tool, or did you think about including a tool, for or an OKR software for implementing OKRs, right? How did that happen?
Yes, we started saying, okay, that's I think it's very good and cool also methodology for us, could be good for us, and let's see how we could do that. And so we started searching a little bit. I mean, it was more like, okay, if we do it in Excel file, but we want to reach to, at the end, we want to reach to whole company. So we have a lot of now, now the technology, there's a lot of things there, is that we can start using. So we try you search in the market for different, how we can do that. And we also use, Asana, also Jira with Confluence, and they have a kind of also tools related to goal setting, so different kind of ways to do it. Um, in that searching, we discovered Profit, yeah. So we discovered you guys, and I think it was when I contact you. I think it was like I contact you, and you were the ones responding in a very very faster way. I mean, and also a lot of resources that was important also, because we were searching what is this about, what kind of tools there are in the market related to OKRs. And you have amazing resources. I mean, I read a lot about that about, I mean, a lot about OKRs in Profit, and everything was searching, and oh, more information, more things, more. So that was also important. Say that company, it seems that you put a lot of resources uh, in doing that. And I think this it's more like that my impression probably was at the beginning, wow, they know about OKRs, they know about the methodology. So we did also a kind of testing with also, yeah, I mean, Confluence, they also have something there that you can put it something and try it. We do something, but we realize, I think it's something that we discover you guys and say, wow, this is what we really are looking for. So yeah, I think because the idea to start something in Excel file, I think nowadays is not very useful, So as soon as we realize, I mean, as soon as we saw everything you are offering, we said, I think Profit could be our platform. So
Great. Awesome.
it wasn't very fast, I think, in that case, very fast.
Okay. Nice. Excellent. And so, you were looking at the tool, you decided on the tool, and at the same time, internally, to prepare the team for OKRs, whether roles and responsibilities are defined, whether any communication about, hey, the OKR project is coming, that's the expectation from the different teams. How did that part go, and who performed that role?
Okay, so when we decide, let's go for OKRs. So that's who could be, more like the captain or, the leader of that project. So in that case, so we decide it was more in the role of HR, leading this project. So I started leading the project, and the first thing we did, or I did, it was more like putting everything in what it could be the scope of the project. So we started defining the project, and one thing is who is gonna be, our partner in that. Yeah, I think I contact with you, with Profit, and I think everything. I mean, I follow all the steps with Profit, no, with you guys. So all the steps, I think we were very together, working together in that part. And the first part, I was very clear from my side, and also, of course, for your side, was training. We need to start with training. Who are gonna be the key persons in all this project? Who is gonna push the project, and who is gonna help? Yes, to go, or deploy in the company. So we started doing that part of two different kind of trainings. And the first one, it was more like you have that program is coaching. Is that all that people that they need to go deeper and to know more about OKRs and the methodology and how to implement it. And there was a second training, more of people that they need to know more what is the methodology of OKRs. So we started with that, and we started with around, I think it was 25, 30 people training. I think that was the first step to do it.
Okay, great.
And yeah, so we started with that. And we continued. We continued to all the process, all the definition of the steps of the project. But it was very very with you guys. I mean, it was very in how to say, in team with you, so collaborating a lot with you.
So the coaching and experience, how was it? How did the team receive? What was the feedback? And how useful was it before really doing the software implementation?
Before doing the software implementation, they were a little bit more expecting to say, oh, what is going on? So what is that about OKRs? I think that sometimes what is OKRs? Oh, I don't know if I understood, the people was a little bit, oh, I don't know if I understood well, what is this about OKRs? So I was a little bit more like, okay, let's see, you know. But I think after the training, there was a clear what it is about, and also very clear the methodology of OKRs. So after the training, people was like, oh, I feel very much, comfortable now to start working with OKRs. But the thing is more like when you start working, you realize, oof, maybe I don't know enough, because
Okay.
it's at some point you see that there's, oh, I understand it's easy, but when you need to apply in your, in your work, so that's, oh, let's see, it's like more like I know the theory, but I don't know how to apply that theory. So
Right.
that happened during the process. So that team was, a little bit. So it was like, oh, I don't feel very comfortable now. But I think also we did some kind of sessions, with the with Profit. I mean, with the consultant in Profit, and so they help us, how you can define that. And I think so. And that process, we find different people in the team. So people more like early adopters, they go ahead and they continue and they do it. And some people, they were more like let's see, I need to see more, I need to understand more. So I mean, I can say it has been a process. It's been a
Okay.
process how the people is adapting, the methodology to do things. Yeah.
Sure. Got it. And the onboarding experience, from a Profit.co software onboarding experience, how was the experience for you? Did you have any challenges? How did it go?
You mean
The
the
software
onboarding?
implementation.
Yeah, the software implementation. I think the software implementation was the easiest part of
Okay.
that. Yeah, absolutely the easiest part. Because one of the things when we go and we went ahead with profit, it was because of that. Because I think it's a very friendly, easy. I mean, one thing I did, before I decided, I went to Profit and I create a user, just to test, to do some testing there. And one thing I realized, it was very user friendly, easy. I mean, if you know a little bit about OKR, maybe it's not perfect, how you put it there in terms of if you are doing really a OKR there, but very easy and friendly to use, and simple. How to say? Oh, this you put it. You do the follow up. I mean, it's the only thing I can summarize that is a very very friendly user. That's so that is, and also have a lot of the way is do it the way is that you have a different options to create a OKR. So when you say, I say to other people, if you don't know, you need to go step by step and you will see very clear, and even it's going to give you more knowledge how to understand how to do, how to create OKRs. So
Great. So the step by
yeah, I
step
think
was useful. Step
yes,
by step is useful. Okay.
very very useful, because maybe okay methodology, is a, sometimes you find with OKRs, people is just, it's a KPI, it's a key result. So maybe you don't have a clear picture of what it is exactly, but when you go step by step, you see, decrease, increase, and maintain, easy. So that's, you see, very, and you follow all the steps, and it's helping you to understand whole methodology and what is important for OKRs. I think is a very important part. When you just put it there and you say, okay, I'm gonna do the follow up every Friday. So that's, I'm gonna do it every Monday. So I think that is a very, very way to, yes, when you have in the platform, is just helping you to understand. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah, that's amazing. So what I understand is that the step by step process to create OKR is really helping you to implement the methodology and providing clarity to people, right? Helping them to understand it easier.
But
Okay,
yes, yes,
got
yeah.
it. And in terms of so now, how many quarters have you done with OKRs? Do you do it quarterly or do you do it annually? How do you do that?
We started annually,
Okay.
but we follow the OKRs quarterly. So
Okay.
it's more like we put it annually, but we follow quarterly. So so that that is the process. I mean, so what we have realized in that, it was more like we realized that some, when you have, in the past, we had a goal that, okay, at the middle of the year we realized, this goal, we are not going to achieve it, and it was, sometimes it was more like, what we do with that, it's more like, it's there, but we know that we are not going to achieve. But we are still there, it's still there. So with this, it was interesting the way, because every quarter we review it and say, oh, we have a problem here. So I think the methodology of OKRs and also the platform helps us to just say, okay, you need to review what you're gonna do differently. What we are gonna do with that. So that thing is, it was more like how it's helping a lot move forward. Yeah, move in a different direction. Just take action. So I think it's, so yeah, so that's, it's helping us a lot. We are not doing OKRs in quarters annually, but it's in the same way we used to do it, because that was the first step. But at the same time, it's helping us to just do the follow up and see what action I need to take, how I'm gonna get that. Maybe I'm stuck in something. So that was the most interesting part.
Okay, that's awesome. And how many quarters have you done with OKRs, Sonia?
Um, some departments we have done 3, because we started before, and some of them, yes, it was at the July, um, mid mid year.
So they've
Yeah.
done two quarters. Some have done two.
Yes, 2
Okay.
quarters. Yeah.
And overall, what has been the experience of people right across the board using OKRs? Right, I'm not saying Profit as a tool, but overall OKRs as a framework. What has been the experience of people? What is the feedback that you are hearing? What is the impact? Yeah.
I think the impact is so far there are kind of different kind of feelings there. The majority of them is a very positive feedback. Then some of them maybe sometimes they feel, when I feel a bit, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, so I feel a bit confused, and I feel, oh, I don't feel very comfortable doing something that I don't know exactly how to do it. But I will say that the majority of them, the feedback is, oh, that is helping us to communicate more with different departments. Is also saying to you, oh, now I see that, I can see very clear, and especially from not only from the people in the department, also from the manager of that people, is that, oh, I'm seeing that there are kind of sometimes contradictions. I send one OKR to one department, and I am saying the opposite to another one. So that kind of things are very that you see in the methodology of OKRs, that the people is realizing that part, and it's forcing people to communicate more. That thing is,
Okay.
communicate more, be more transparent, and that also people, the feedback is, oh, and now I can say what is the goals of the all departments. Um, so that part, and the people was very enthusiastic in the part of, oh, how we are gonna do these alignments, and they were really worried about the alignments. So, at the same time concerned, and I mean enthusiastic, and all at the same time worried about, because how we are gonna do that, because I think that they realized that part was the most important part, about OKRs. So in general terms, I will say very, very positive experience, and the people is willing to see how they can improve even more with that.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And any challenges for you, Sonia, overall as an OKR captain? How are you feeling about the role, your experience, and any challenges that you've faced, you've overcome? Or how has it been?
Um, I think I can say I have a very good partner. With Profit, so I have a very good partner. I think we, we agree one thing during the process, the agreement at the beginning, but they fought. They say, okay, I think every week we have a meeting, and we continue that during, more than we say 6 months. I don't remember exactly, but they say we continue a whole year. And so that part I feel are very, I have people that is with me here, and they know how to do these things. So to implement it, because as I mentioned, because there are some people that are more resistant to, yes, how we can do that, and it was a change of methodology, mentality, even mentality in the way we do things, and sometimes it wasn't easy. But I think the support, and when the people start and discover the platform and discovering everything, I think they also saw that it was easy. It wasn't, it was easy at least to use and to put it there, OKRs. So yeah, I think as we want to continue. We want to continue this year, and now we want to go to whole organization, or almost whole organization, as far as we can in that. Yeah. And I think I want to mention something very important, because during all this process I was, in our meetings, the follow-up meetings with Profit, so we were doing more like, okay, now we need this, or we need that, or we need the report. We want a report that is going more customized for us. seems that this is we want this and that, and we all the things they were. I can say all the things you have done, all the things. So that part is, I think that's my job very easy.
Okay,
So that's
great. No, we are very thankful for the opportunity to work with you, right, as well as with other members in CELO, right? So we're quite grateful for the opportunity to work. Now, but for you as well as from the team, are there any specific feedback on the software itself? How are the people feeling? How do you feel overall now that you've completed 3 quarters? Right, what has been the experience on the software itself?
I think the experience of the software, as I mentioned all the time, anything we had or we have, we go to you guys and say, okay, we want this, or we want to change that, or we want this, and all the time we have answers, so we can say we work, very well with the platform. We find all the things that sometimes you think, oh, I can do this or I can do that. Oh, the majority of the time is possible to do it, and if not, you always search for a solution. So I think we don't have we are constantly doing feedback to you, and you just give answers to us, so it's very easy to work with you.
Okay.
Yeah, on the
And
platform.
great. And your original goals with respect to digitalization, transformation, bringing in focus, alignment, and change. I would say taking the culture to the next level. So there, are you firmly on the path? How are you doing with respect to those goals for the program?
I think we are in the path. We are in the path. Yeah, I think we are in the path in the digitalization, in all these things, and I think Profit is helping us in that. One of the things, or another challenge that we have, it was related to data, to have more data, and the possibility to transform that data in knowledge, and so I think also Profit is helping us to have more data about the performance of the company.
Okay.
So yes, absolutely is helping us in that.
And how often are people checking in, Sonia? And, what is the recommended check-in frequency at CELO?
You mean in the OKRs?
Yeah.
I think this is a part maybe is more challenge for us, because we started putting the OKRs, and we continue with the same way we used to do it. So that part of the check-ins could be more our how to say, this is our challenge for the future. Yeah, usually I would say every month, because sometimes you have a month, every month you have a meeting, so you go every month. But the idea is this year we are creating a frame for us. It's like a more, okay, inside of the methodology of OKRs, how CELO wants to work with the OKRs. And we create a frame and say some kind of, the frame is more like a recommendation, it's like a suggestions for the people and for the managers especially, and say, so that part is okay. This OKRs say you need to just check in every week. But if that is not, that is not possibility with that KPI or key result that you have, at least you need to do it every 2 weeks. So the idea is just go ahead with that. So that's one thing that we need to implement, and we are gonna implement during this month, I would say.
Okay. And in terms of any measurable impact, right? Any areas where it's, let's say improved productivity or improved performance, or saving time for people, is that something which you are seeing? Maybe you're not measuring and getting the exact numbers, but is that something which you are observing? How do you feel about it?
Um, yes, I think that the part I am observing is the people is more like starting um, communicating more, as I said, and but also realizing that, okay, you haven't achieved that because I needed to do that. So that is the part more like where we are now.
Okay.
In that part of realizing things. I hope, at least at 6 months, something like that, we can more like go ahead with that part of the measure,
Sure.
trying to measure the performance.
Sure. We will probably come back at that time. And probably the last couple of questions. One, what has been your approach towards OKRs and employee performance management? Right. So you come from HR. What are your views on it? How do you plan to, go ahead implementing, your philosophies with respect to OKRs and performance management at CELO?
So I was I think I can say before the end of the year. So in December, we were discussing with Eswar in Profit, we were discussing about how to implement performance. So yes, my idea or the idea of the company is to implement performance appraisal inside of Profit, and we already have evaluation of competencies, so we already have that part. So we will introduce that part of the model of competencies, and we are still trying to define, or we will define how to do this part of goals and OKRs. So, but the idea is, yes, we want everyone doing OKRs, and probably that OKR that is go more personal OKR could be a part of the performance, but we will also consider we will consider also for evaluation the OKRs in general. So we are still defining that part, but the decision is already, we made the decision that they say we are gonna use the part of the performance appraiser in Profit. So one thing we started to do is put all the competencies in Profit. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah.
Great, that's great. So probably the final word, for, if you were to go back, let's say 1 year back, right? If you were to advise to your own self 1 year back, or for people who are going to implement OKRs, what would be your advice? Top 3 things that you would advise people to take care so that their OKR program is successful?
Could you say again that part?
Yeah, I would say that if somebody, let's say if if your friend is working in as an OKR captain in another company, he or she is going to start implementation, what
Oh,
would be
okay.
your
Okay,
advice?
sorry.
What would be
Yeah.
your advice to that person? Top 3 things you would.
Oh, okay. I think that maybe they don't have a clear picture that how it's going to be. They don't have maybe all the information, or maybe don't see that all the people is really involved in that. But they go ahead with that. Go ahead with the OKRs, because I think it's going to move. It's helping the company to move forward. Absolutely, it's helping the company.
Great. It's a great piece of advice. So, don't overanalyze, just get going and then, learn along the way, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, that's a beautiful advice. So, folks, we'd like to thank Sonia for sharing some amazing advices. Right, Sonia from CELO in Spain. She took her time and shared with us some amazing advice, specifically, really things on, how do we plan the execution, how do we, make sure that we continue quarter after quarter and learn. How do we don't have to wait till you have the entire picture, but you get going and start, and then learn things along the way, right? A very useful advice. Thank you very much, Sonia, for sharing your wisdom.